training camp just because you look at it and it's a time of many narratives from the top end of the roster to the bottom end of the roster, and everyone's looking to really write their own story. As we look at what this phase is all about at training camp, we talked about it collectively as a group, and it's all about competing at the end of the day. And as we move on through the competition that we're building internally, we're looking to build confidence going into the season, and we're looking to find some type of consistency, because it's the guys that are consistent and the guys that do have that true confidence that's going to go out there week one against Tampa and put together what we're looking to be a successful season. With that, kind of open up with questions.
Matt, last year you got to meet Josh Pittis and see kind of what he was about. Seems like he has more opportunity this year on the defensive side. I guess what do you think has kind of helped him come along to get those opportunities?
I think the biggest thing is, and our quarterback talked about it a lot yesterday when he spoke to the team, it's all about his process, how he goes about it on a daily basis. He's got a great mentor in Harrison Smith that's been doing it for going into 12 years now. And so you look at when you have that type of guy in the building who he's able to watch, who he's able to mentor after, and really kind of basically follow behind, that helps build up those type of guys like Metellus, help them build a process, help them understand what it takes to play in this league, and quite frankly, develop it to the plays he's become.
Kirk was talking about just the process in general, or was he talking about Josh?
No, he was talking about the process in general. So he addressed the entire team yesterday with an unbelievable message just about what he defines as success, what it takes to be in this league for such a long time, and basically what do you have to do to stay in it. And it was a great message that he delivered.
With Josh in particular, people talk about his intelligence, like Harrison was talking about his intelligence. I guess where does that show up on special teams? How do you know immediately if a guy has that football IQ?
Well, typically you can find out during the week through the preparation that he has. He's able to call out particular looks, but because of the film study that he put in, he's an unbelievable note taker. He does a great job of communicating to everybody. And when he goes out there, he's calling out what to expect because he sees certain alignments, there's certain tidbits that opponents are giving away. And because of that, it basically puts him a step ahead of everybody else.
Hey, Matt, just how do you view the kicking competition in general? I mean, is it a competition, or did Greg earn the right?
It's last year we had Jordan Bear, we had Mr. Wright. It's a punting competition. This year we have Greg Joseph and Jack Podlesny, and it's a kicking competition. So, the goal is, the way this roster has been built out, we're looking to compete at every single aspect, every single level of every single position. And, ideally the goal is that once we get down from 90 to 53, the other 37 individuals that was a part of it are playing for 31 other teams in this league. And so that's how the roster is built out. Our personnel has done an unbelievable job of putting it together. And so it is a kicking competition between those two.
What has Troy Reeder brought to the unit and just brought to this team?
Yeah, so I actually had Troy, got him as an undrafted rookie, and an unbelievable leader. He does a great job of understanding, communicating in the meeting rooms. He has a great understanding and feel for how to play the game. He understands where to be, how to do it. He's he's a tactician is how I like to consider him. And, you look at the addition that we have with him, veteran leadership with what looks to be a young group that's coming in from an ST unit. I'm excited about him.
How do you evaluate punt returners? I mean, there's only so many reps you can do, real punt return reps. You got a couple of guys with experience. I guess what are you kind of looking for guys to separate themselves?
Yeah, for sure. We got a few guys at that position, and you look at them, 3 different body types. I won't go into describing those set body parts this year, but you look at those guys, and they all have the same exact mindset, and it's to attack, cover teams vertically, fearlessly. And I look forward to seeing how that plays out, and I really want to be able to make sure that I can give as much opportunity as I can. Obviously, that'll depend on the defense, but we'll make sure we do a great job of trying to build it out, block, to get those guys an opportunity to play it out and see how it goes.
Hey man, we always hear about offensive and defensive schemes and how they get tweaked or changed or evolved from one year to the next. How much does yours, what you do on special teams, change?
Quite a bit, actually, and I had a great talk with the unit the other day about taking a second-year leap, and we first year coordinator last year, first year with all those guys playing in the system, and with that you look to build off of what we did last year, and so the schematics will change just slightly. There'll be some things that we did really, really well and other things that were pretty mediocre, and so we look at off-season studies, added a great assistant in Dalton Gibson, who is an unbelievable teacher and an unbelievable evaluator and knows how to watch tape, and so with all of the data that we use and gather from basically every special team unit phase, we find certain tidbits, certain tendencies that we'll be able to use and kind of add on to our schematics and basically try to use it that works and built out for the personnel that we're going to be putting on the field.
Based on that data, what are some areas that you are trying to improve on?
I think the biggest thing is you look at it from a pressure return standpoint, trying to get the returner getting going just a little bit more. Obviously the kickoff return game has changed with the fair catch rule. Don't really see it changing much from our end. But that is something you have to adjust for, the certain type of kicks that you're going to have to kick if you do want to put it in play or give an opportunity where you feel like you have an advantageous a win over a mediocre kickoff return unit. And so with that, you kind of look to figure out ways to find ways where we can basically have a plus on our end.
How do you balance the kickoff time? How much you spend on that, considering some teams might be
you got to spend the same amount of time. You treat it the exact same because it's hard to say what the opponent is going to do. You can kind of look at the history, what they did based on, where's the returners' heels at the goal line, where they never returning balls if it went into the end zone. You try to go and take that same approach every week in and week out because you just never know.
Do you think return rules stay this way, or do you think that they'll evolve over the years? Because it seems like they want that to be more exciting.
Yeah, they do. I think it's a constantly evolving game at the end of the day. And so, this will be a test trial run, but history says that when there's a test trial, it's kind of 50-50 really. You can look at how the review of penalties went, right? That was a one-year trial. Didn't really work out, so they tossed it out. And so it'll be interesting to see what the data says in terms of injuries in the kickoff and kickoff return game because, we're always concerned about player safety. And what this rule really is about is trying to limit and decrease the amount of concussions and injuries, soft tissue injuries that take place on that phase. And so if the numbers drop because of this kickoff rule, well, you can probably expect for it to stay in. Otherwise, if returns are up and you're seeing less injuries, well, then it might end up changing. So.
Obviously focused on your unit, but what have your impressions been of Brian Flores, the way he goes about it, and just the defense as a whole?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is sitting in, because I enjoy sitting in the defensive rooms. He does an unbelievable job of communicating. He really commands the room. He really demands a lot from that group, and he requires them to learn and really, really absorb the information and be able to spit it out really, really quickly. And so for them from a defensive standpoint, you got a great leader, you got a great guy who does a great job of not micromanaging guys, and there's a lot of ownership that goes into it. He says a lot like it's not my defense, it's our defense, it's your defense. And he really holds ownership and accountability to that group.
If guys perform well for you, they do get more opportunities elsewhere, and you maybe lose a little bit.
Yeah,
of time
that's the beauty of being a special teams coordinator, special teams coach is we're really part of the developing process of these players, and you want guys like Josh Metellus to do what he has to do, ball out on special teams, and eventually he's going to develop and become a starter in this league. And so for me, my job is to teach, demand, and develop, and from that, mature those guys, and they're going on to have elite, responsible roles from a defensive, offensive standpoint.
Anything else, Coach?
Yeah, cool. Appreciate y'all.